Thanks, Jeff. Is J&J production going to continue during this pause? And secondly, is the Biden administration considering ordering more doses of Pfizer or Moderna, given, just in case this problem with J&J becomes prolonged?
So the J&J production issues in Baltimore, obviously a completely separate set of issues, and those are being worked out through the FDA process with the company. And production of those vaccines begin if and when the FDA authorizes that facility. Your second question was, we really have thought of this as a wartime effort from the beginning, which is why we purchased excess supply so that we'd be ready for any contingency. And we'll continue to look at every possibility in terms of making sure that we always have enough supply for the American people.
Well, just to clarify on the J&J production, not related to the Baltimore plant, but just overall J&J production, is that going to pause while this pause on administering doses occurs, or is the production going to continue?
Well, the production is really centered around that Baltimore facility. The vast majority of the production is that Baltimore facility.
Andrew? I just want to, Jeff or Dr. Fauci, I want to just ask you very directly, are you ruling out the possibility that the vaccine could be removed from the market? I mean, are you ruling out that, are you expecting it to be re-allowed?
I think it would be premature to comment on that, and that's the reason why the pause was done, so that they could take a good look at it very carefully, look at every different factor. I wouldn't want to speculate as to what would happen. Often, when you see things like this, that you pause and come back. Whether or not that happens now, I can't guarantee it, but I can tell you that's exactly what the CDC and FDA people are going to be deciding on and looking at very carefully.
If I could just ask you on this outreach question. So, this is a problem that you've been struggling with, the sort of vaccine hesitancy. This obviously is a setback. What do you have to sort of ramp up into an additional war-type effort to really ensure that this message gets out there? Do you personally go to states like Mississippi where the vaccination rate is really low?
Well, let me answer your first question, and then I'll. We, consistent with it being a wartime effort, we've planned for different scenarios and different contingencies. So we have enough supply of Moderna and Pfizer to hit the targets that we've set, the 200 million shots in 100 days, and to head toward the 4th of July that we've talked about as a country, a more normal 4th of July. Clearly, part of that is making sure that when it's an American's turn to get vaccinated, they get vaccinated, and we do need to continue to build confidence, and that's done at the community level. People are trusting of their local doctors, their faith leaders, their neighbors, which is why it's important when people do get vaccinated, they not only get themselves vaccinated, but they spread the word about the safety and effectiveness of the vaccines.
Steve?
Just to nail it down, Jeff, one of the goals that you haven't mentioned today is the hope that there'll be enough supply on hand for the country by the end of May. Is that still operative now in the wake of this pause? And the second question is, it's a bit surprising to learn that you only yourself learned about this morning. Do you wish you had heard sooner?
Yeah, I learned about it last night, that there would be an announcement, not the specifics of the announcement. No, because that's to the science, and we want the science agencies to lead with science, and there's no reason for us to be involved in any of the scientific decisions. We bring nothing to the table. That is the FDA's role, that is the CDC's role, and they're led by terrific leaders with great teams to do the science, and this administration will be led by science. As to your first question, we believe there's enough vaccine in the system, Moderna and Pfizer, for all Americans who want to get vaccinated by May 31st to do so.
Yeah, Jeff, I feel like we're kind of dancing around the hesitancy question here, and so I would just ask you directly, do you think the announcement of this pause will increase or decrease vaccine hesitancy?
Look, hesitancy amongst a group of people is a challenge, and we need to be addressing it, and we are, as I talked about, by going to meet people where they are, to follow all that we've learned about who people trust, their local doctor, their nurse, their faith leader. And I think that, there's tremendous track record, as Dr. Fauci has talked about, with tens of millions of doses of Pfizer and Moderna. The FDA acting the way they did today shows that they are indeed the gold standard, and I think that should reassure the American public that they will be very diligent and conservative in how they approach the vaccines.
So the argument is that because the FDA, this tripwire was triggered, that should give Americans more confidence in the overall vaccination plan.
Certainly around how safety and efficacy are being monitored by the gold standard folks at the FDA.
Okay, let's do these 3 more, and then we'll let them go back. Go ahead.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.